voice right now because I was up till 5 a.m.
Oh, let's leave it 2 o'clock.
We are back. Welcome to 2 Dudes in the Mexican.
Let's leave it 2 o'clock.
Why do you keep saying
listen,
that?
I don't know why you keep saying that.
I heard you were the super diva last night.
No, no, we're gonna get to that later. But listen, welcome to 2 Dudes in the Mexican and Pete's Corner mashup because Vic isn't on the show this week, so we were just about
Vic, wow,
to my right though, my resident Mexican Dave Quinones.
Órale, mi gente.
Leave Victor alone.
And to my left, D Money Dre.
Go people.
And listen, we're going to go with a quick show today. We got about 30 minutes before they kick us out of here, so we're going to go real fast for you guys. So, real quick, let's jump right into it. Dre, we got to give our picks so people can try to make some money real fast. So, really quick, what's your first pick in Lock of the Week?
My Lock of the Week, I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. They're minus 16. I know that's a high spread, but listen, Washington, they're super banged up. They have no identity right now. They're not playing no good football. They don't even know which quarterback to start, which I think they're going to go with Colt McCoy today. But with all that being said, I mean, especially Tom Brady after coming off of a bad game, in my opinion, that he had last week, I feel like he's smelling blood right now. I feel like they're just going to come in and just tear these guys apart. This game has 43. 3 red all over it.
Oh!
Challenge flag. Challenge flag.
I feel like you're sucking up the guest on our hair right here.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because trust me, she knows I'll be the first one to get on them. But with that being said, New England does have great defense. I don't expect Colt McCoy to put up points against this really good New England defense. And again, Washington just has a really bad defense. I mean, personally, I love the minus 16. It's a lot of points, but
that's a hell of a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
Did they actually announce a starting quarterback for Washington? Okay, so no Haskins, huh?
No Haskins. So that's another topic. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're completely fucked up in Washington. All right, my top pick of the week is gonna be Green Bay over Dallas, plus 3.5.
Yes, I like it.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is gonna slice up that secondary. He's starting to get on a roll, and actually, I think they're going to win the game outright. So I think it's perfect that you're actually going to get points just in case something happens and they lose by a field goal. You're still going to win that bet. So that's my top pick of the week. Dre, real quick, what's your second pick of the week?
I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints at home minus 3 against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's been playing really good football too, but so has New Orleans. And considering that, yeah, but then again, like you just said, he's a little bit iffy too. He's very suspect. We don't know what kind of Jameis is going to show up. New Orleans, despite of Drew Brees being gone, they've been proven to me, coaching-wise and talent-wise, that they could win games. We saw it last week against the Cowboys at home.
A team.
A Cowboys team that people...
A little limited, though, with Bridgewater.
They're not going to go deep right
now. But they have too many weapons not to do good.
And not just that, they're good defensive teams.
Against Cowboys and against Seattle, that game was nothing but good coaching. And you know what? Again, we have a 4-1 Seattle that's playing really good. And, and Cowboys, they're still playing good. And the fact that New Orleans are finding ways to win, I feel comfortable taking them minus 3 at home against Tampa Bay. Again, a suspect Tampa Bay that you don't know who's going to show up.
All right, so I like that pick. So I'm going to go with my second pick of the week. I'm going to go with KC minus 11 on Sunday Night Football against the Indianapolis Colts. I think KC is rolling right now. Everybody knows they're scoring a bunch of points. They did get slowed up a little bit by Detroit last week, but I think that was just a little bit of a scumbag block. I mean, they only missed the cover by 1 point.
So you're not worried?
No, I'm not worried about that.
I don't think it's a regression with KC. You think they're going to be fine, right?
And plus, Detroit may be just better than we thought.
I think
Detroit's playing really well.
They're playing really good.
So I didn't give them enough credit, but they did a hell of a job against KC. I mean, listen, they could have won that game. That game was winnable, and could you imagine if they did win that game?
Yeah, they were this close.
So they were very close. I was very surprised.
It took a last-minute drive and a last-minute touchdown to come back and win that game.
Which we know that KC could pretty much blow up points on anybody, any team. So the fact that they held up to 6 points, that's not bad.
And without their top wide receiver, so I mean, they're still killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys coming out. You don't even really know their names, and they're just, they're balling it.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill is right around the corner. He should be back in the next 2 weeks, so that'll make him even more dangerous.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, Dre, what's your upset pick of the week?
My upset pick of the week, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to win and cover the plus 3.5 at Carolina. You know what? Jacksonville, again, for somebody that didn't have, for a team that didn't really have a QB identity, they're doing really good with Gardner Minshew, and the defense is showing up despite of the whole Jalen Ramsey situation. I know they went to Denver, a really tough place to play despite of Denver's record. They came back and rallied up when they were down 17-3. They're moving the ball offensively. Gardner Minshew's finding ways. They're actually starting to run the ball now. Now I think it's a time that they're starting to click. Carolina, I just think that that they're gonna struggle. Kyle Allen's gonna struggle against that Jacksonville defense, and I feel like that Jacksonville defense is gonna put a hold to Christian McCaffrey. I personally like Jacksonville.
Nobody's stopping Christian McCaffrey. Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
He
though.
loves Christian McCaffrey.
He's a man, dude.
He's a man, but you know what? Jacksonville's defense been showing up, and they've been winning them some games. The same way, like I said, like the whole New Orleans thing was a whole coaching. To me, this is defense showing up, despite the whole Jalen Ramsey. So personally, I like them to win and cover that plus 3.5 at Carolina.
Didn't you say on Wednesday, if you needed a defense to pick up the Carolina Panther defense?
Yes.
You did, right?
Yeah.
For this
Yeah.
weekend?
So it's interesting what you're saying.
Yeah.
So and he said so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
actually
no.
followed his advice. So you know.
No.
So thank you.
And that's fine. No, absolutely. I mean, he's not wrong. Again, we have an offense that's shaky because that offense can be shaky. But from what I saw last week, they started to establish that run game, and once they established that run game with Leonard Fournette,
Fenway had a big game.
everything opened up for them. Everything opened up, and not only did it open up, it won them the game once everything opened up. And I expect them to continue that momentum today at Carolina.
All right, so I'm going to go to the Monday night game and piss off a couple of my friends that are 49ers fans because I'm sorry, AR, sorry, Mel, but
And you're gonna piss me off too, man. God damn
He's definitely gonna piss you off.
it. Piss me off.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, he's gonna piss you off.
Lucky I
Right
ain't picked the Bills. So
so I'm a little sorry to the 49ers fans, but I think you're going down. The Cleveland Browns, I think, listen, they're averaging over 30 points per game on the road. They're 2-0 on the road, and they seem to be under so much pressure when they're at home. I think that's kind of stunting them, and they're kind of messing up. But when they're on the road, they're much looser. I think they're going to go out there, they're going to put up 30 points, and I don't think the 49ers will be able to put up 30 points. So, I mean, it's just logical to me. I think that's going to be our upset pick of the week.
all right.
So you start Baker Mayfield then. You got it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you start Baker Mayfield. So now let's go in. Now that we got our picks out the way, let's go into the baseball portion of the show. The divisional series has
Baseball.
started. At every game, everybody has played at least 2 games. The AL doesn't look like as much of a battle right now, but at least in the NL, we've got 2 series that are 1-1. So, Dave, out of the 4 series so far, I mean, who do you think has? I mean, obviously the Yankees and Houston Astros have the advantage 2-0 in their series, and they're both going on the road to try to finish off their series. Braves series is 1-1 going back to St. Louis, and then the other series with the Nationals and the Dodgers are 1-1 surprisingly because Matt Scherzer wants to pitch every game. So that's
Or at least they want to use Matt Scherzer.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
every game.
So that's going back to Washington. Who do you think wins these series now?
Listen, I'm still going with my same picks. I still have LA taking that series, even
In
though
5
I think in 5 now. I think it's going to be tougher than I thought.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, it's been crazy because you put out all the stops right in the playoffs. They used the mixture of Scherzer and Strasburg, you know, to win the wild card game.
Yeah.
They did it now to win, you know,
Win one
game
game,
2.
game 2.
So it's crazy when
And
you
Max
do that
said he wants to come back in game 3.
in game 3. So I mean, I just think LA is going to outlast them again. LA still has, you know, the home field, even though they lost, you know, 1 game in LA. It's
Yeah.
going to have to go back to LA. I think because I think they'll at least take
they
one
gotta win one.
in Washington. So I still have LA taking that series. So and again, you still have Ryu,
right.
Lumen. So I still think the Dodgers have a better offense. But listen, anything's possible. But I still have the Dodgers taking that series. Braves are still taking their series also, even though they had a hiccup that game 1. I think we talked about it already.
Snicker fucked up.
You know, well, that and runners in scoring position. Listen, you know, playoffs, you see it. You need the big timely hits.
Yeah.
So they were obviously able to get those timely hits in game 2, and their pitching was able to shut down the Cardinals. So I think Cardinals, they just don't really have that much firepower, even though they always find a way to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
They pretty much have 3 hitters.
But they're just limited with their firepower. Again, against the Braves lineup, the Braves have just too much of a great lineup and better starting pitching in my opinion. So, and of course, I'm not going to change my opinion with the Astros and the Yankees. Obviously, with the Yankees, The big question mark was the starting pitching, but you see that that's not even an issue with
Yeah.
them putting up
I mean,
all those
8 runs
offensive
in the
numbers.
first 3 rounds,
It's,
first 3
it's
innings.
crazy. It's ridiculous. I mean, granted, the Twins have a lot of holes, in their team and their offense. I mean, they strike out a lot, and obviously they put up big numbers when it came to home runs, but you see them striking out a lot, so it's not a good
That's what happens
combination.
when you face playoff pitching.
Exactly. So, but I'm definitely surprised with Paxton. I didn't think he was going to do that
Great
well.
pitching game.
He did good, and listen, Tanaka I think is their go-to guy. So if there's an elimination game, I think I don't go with Paxton. I go with Tanaka. That's their strongest go-to pitcher. And the Astros are the Stros, man. You see how good Verlander and Cole are. I mean, listen, if Verlander and Cole can pitch like that throughout the playoffs, I mean, they're going to be unstoppable.
Would Oakland have given them a better run?
I think so. Just because obviously Oakland puts up those big offensive numbers. I mean, Oakland. I think if you look at their lineup, I think they had like 5 different players with 30 or more home runs, which is ridiculous. So I mean, whenever you have a combination like that in your lineup, there's big possibilities. But again, they strike out a lot also. So, but I think Oakland would have gave them maybe a little more of a challenge, but not that far away from Tampa. So, but yeah, I'm not changing my opinion on my picks before. So,
All right, Dre, real quick. Yankees up 2-0, Astros up 2-0. Are those series done?
I think it's done. I think they got a hold on that series, in my opinion, both those teams.
All right, and quickly the picks for the NL. You got the Braves, St. Louis. You got 1-1 going back to St. Louis. And then you have, first, what do you think of that one? Do you think Braves or St.
No,
Louis?
I still think the Braves, like Dave said, they just had
See,
a
they
little
know how to
bit
stay
of-
on the show.
honestly, I like them to take that series too.
And then Dodgers, Nats, which is obviously everybody thought that was going to be the best series.
Yeah, it's
gonna be
Dodgers
tough
were the
this year.
favorite, but like Vic picked the Nats going to win the
Wow,
series.
yeah.
And I thought they have a legitimate chance. I thought they had the best chance to beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Do you think they beat the Dodgers, or do you think Dodgers hold on?
I think this is still going to be the best series, but I still think the Dodgers are going to hold on to get out of that series in advance.
I think the only reason that, like, obviously picking Houston, picking Yankees, they're up 2-0. They should. There's a good chance they both can sweep. In the NL, I do think the Braves will still win because I think they'll win Game 3. And Game 4 is, listen, Game 4 is going to be a toss-up. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to hold it 4 or 5, but I do think that they'll find a way to win. But Dodgers and Nats, that one has been so interesting. And I would have given the Nats a chance to pull the series off if they didn't have to pitch Scherzer last game. Because if he was at full strength going into Game 3, he can dominate their lineup. And then we have a 2-1 series, and you have Game 4 going against Corbin in Nationals Park. So that would have been tough to compete. And then you got Strasburg waiting Game 5. Now that they have to use him, I think the Dodgers will win Game 3. They'll have the 2-1 advantage. And then I think probably the Dodgers may be able to finish them even at 4.
So you think the Dodgers face Scherzer Game 3 and beat Scherzer in
Yes.
Game 3? Wow.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll be honest.
Because it's not full strength.
I was very surprised with Patrick Corbin. Again, I wasn't sold, but man, he pitched well.
Yeah.
He pitched good enough to win.
Yes,
So
he did.
I think he gave up 3, but I think it was 2 earned or maybe 2-1. I can't remember, but he pitched a hell of a game, man, and that slider was working. So
Yeah.
he looked good. I mean, listen, Washington looks good. I just think that the Dodgers just have too much firepower.
Yeah.
And they have
Everybody in their lineup.
and they have guys like I forgot the guy that hit the home run the other night. I don't even know who he is. Who the hell is this
Damn.
guy? It's kind of like the Yankees, kind of like right where the Yankees
There's no
came
weak
and
spot in
they
the lineup.
had they just had guys that you really didn't know, and they're just hitting home runs and getting timely hits. So
But that's the beauty
I
of the
just think
postseason,
they're too
right? I
much.
mean,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the postseason. You got
unsung
guys that are
heroes.
stepping up.
Unsung heroes that come out of nowhere. But with that said, talking about unsung heroes, it looks like Tyson Fury wants to play Superman in WWE.
Man.
Jumping over the railing, like what the
Yeah.
hell is going on here?
I love it.
But now, Dave, I know you're not a big fan of WWE except for maybe Hulk Hogan.
Because
all.
what? Wrestling is what?
But
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
let's
We're just
not-
kidding. Just kidding.
We got a lot. Yes.
Producer, you're
We're
fired.
kidding. We're
Listen,
kidding. We're kidding.
yeah, exactly. We got a lot of people that watch that.
We're
watch wrestling
kidding.
that are
We're
watching us.
joking.
But listen,
I'm not.
but
Better
listen.
than Game of Thrones.
Tyson Fury, obviously,
Watch your mouth.
he got promoted big time by Fox because they put him under Big Show WWE, Friday Night SmackDown, the premiere. He's out there and he's jumping over the railing, going against wrestlers. how is this going to affect boxing now that you have such a huge platform, and he's not a PBC guy, but he's on Fox getting promoted like this, knowing that he's going to be facing Wilder in February. Is this good for boxing, or does this make it more of a joke?
I mean, I don't know if it's good for boxing, but it's good for boxers. I mean, because maybe they'll start doing it more often. I mean, listen, money talks.
Deontay did it. Deontay did it before. He did it
so
about a year or two ago.
So there you go. Money talks, and if you're getting paid, endorsements and these types of things, if you can do them, and especially if the depending on your role. If you're not that prone to injury, I mean, why not? I mean, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, and it's just going to promote your name, your brand more. And you know what? I think boxing would allow it and be okay with it because it's only going to promote the person, the brand. It's only going to help to promote. Yeah, and it's only going to help to promote a card or an event coming up for boxing. So
and you look at something like that wrestling show. Probably, I'm not sure the exact amount, but it probably got about 3-4 million views.
Oh man,
so you're looking at,
and I didn't even think about it that way. Wow.
And you're looking at a boxer that they may not have known about that is now seeing somebody, and they're going to try to incorporate him. They're going to give them on again on Monday night. So he's going to be showing out to everybody.
Crazy,
everybody's going to know his name now. They've already seen Deontay Wilder from before. They've already talked about him. Now they get to see his opponent. Like I think this is perfect for the sport. Dre, what do you think? Do you think this was a good thing that they have Tyson Fury out there on last week and have him out there on Monday, or do you think this is bad?
No, I think it's a great thing, and anybody that follows the sport of wrestling, that follows the sport of wrestling knows that this goes way back to Mike Tyson. We've seen
Tyson's done that. Floyd's
had a match at WrestleMania. We've seen guys like Holyfield have matches in the ring, small exhibitions. I love it. Again, like they were saying, if it's a good way to expose these boxers without them getting physically hurt or whatever, to me, I'm all for it. I think this is great. And if you got somebody like Tyson Fury trying to get in the face of Braun Strowman on paper, like in the wrestling world, to me, it
was funny.
Yeah, I love it.
Even Ronda Rousey, right?
Ronda Rousey is another one.
We also had Cain Velasquez show up too.
So
again,
everybody's in the sport.
We had Gronkowski show up at WrestleMania and do this type of thing. So again, if people look at the big picture, these athletes from all different types of sports, they always show up to the WWE and have fun with it, and they make a lot of money, and it helps them in their sports with the viewership.
It's huge for their branding. It's huge for their promoting things. So. As much as there's always a line where a lot of people either like WWE or they hate WWE, but the point is that they're so huge, it's great for promoting it. Let's real quick, get to the fight last night. I was there. I personally thought Golovkin lost. I had him losing by a point, and that says a lot. And that says a lot because everybody knows I'm a huge Golovkin fan. Dave, do you think he won or lost?
It's kind of tough. I mean, I'll be honest. I want to see the fight again.
He got hit a lot.
Yeah, he did. So listen, the problem is when you're fighting a young lion who has nothing to lose, in essence, and you're trying to, in essence, try to take that step to the next level. Those guys are dangerous, especially when those guys are people that nobody else wants to fight. So I give Triple G credit for taking this fight because he could have said no. Does that hurt his brand? Does that hurt his his fan favoritism? I don't think so. So he could have been like, listen, Canelo's done it too. I'll be honest, Canelo's done it in the past. So, but I give him credit for taking this fight, man. I had Triple G winning, but again, it's one of those fights where there were some tough rounds to judge. You might have to look at it with the volume off, and
that's a great point.
And straight up, because this was a tough fight. So did Sergey do enough to beat the champion? Right, that's what they say. So you have to do it convincingly. I don't think so. First sight, no. So, but again, I'd have to watch the fight again. I had Triple G winning by 1 round. So that's my take on it.
Dre, what do you have with it?
Look, I'm a huge GGG fan, but I had Golovkin losing. Again, this is a type of fight that's so many close rounds. Listen, I got to go back and watch it. I was fucked up, whatever, but just watching the fight.
It's a PG-13 show, right?
We're not promoting down the show.
But just watching the whole fight as a fan and not judging it or whatever, to me it looked like Golovkin lost the fight again by a point. I felt like the knockdown maybe might have got him a draw, But I just saw, in my opinion, Father Age catching up, and somebody that, in my opinion, which I said, by the way, just mentally checked out of the sport, especially after those Canelo fights. And my, like this whole GGG heel being heel. No, to me, it's just me looking at a frustrated Golovkin that at this point is not only mentally checked out, but Father Age is catching up to him. But I got, and it's sad because that's one of my favorite fighters. I gotta go back and watch.
Do you guys think that? You know, obviously at the end of the fight, he was a little bloody, right? He was a little, bruised up and stuff like that. Do you think that kind of swayed you a little bit because you're not used to seeing Triple G take that much punishment and get hit that much?
On the contrary, I think it will sway people to look at Sergey's face and be like, "Wow,
yeah, because Sergey had the cut eye. He had the other eye was swelled up. First of all, both boxers had to go to the hospital, so neither one of them was
crazy, man.
So
wow.
But let me ask you guys something real quick.
That I didn't know.
But let me ask you guys something real quick before we move on to the next topic. I mean, do you think Golovkin allows himself to be in these type of fights with the high risk? Little reward.
He's got 3 fights left with them, and obviously you want to take. He's going to make $15 million minimum for every fight. So
he's going to do it.
So his.
I mean,
the zone isn't going to let him cheap shot his way through.
But at the same time, he's got to be smart about his career also, because like you said, Father Time. Listen, it's against him right now. He's not getting any younger. Again, like I said, young lions like this. These are the toughest fights sometimes. Especially if this person is not a champion, if this person is trying to make a name for himself in the sport, these are the toughest fights. These are fights that nobody wants to take. No. Because again, it's high risk,
low reward.
Low reward. So I mean, again, the fight everybody at least I think the boxing community still wants to see is that Triple G Canelo fight.
No.
So, but again. I
don't want to see it. I said that before last night. I don't want to see the part 3. But listen, we got a couple more minutes. We want to get to these games real quick. Game of the week: Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. Dave, who wins that game and what happens? 30 seconds, so we can get through this.
I agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers.
Time's up. Move on.
Aaron Rodgers is going to look really, really good. Is Devontae Adams playing today? Okay, so he's still going to be able to spread that ball out. I think Aaron Jones probably has a big game then, because I think they're going to utilize him a lot. Like you guys said before, with Pete's Corner, if you run the ball, that's going to open up the pass. I think he's going to slice and dice that secondary today.
Great. Green Bay, Dallas, who wins?
Green Bay's going to win. I think they got a bounce back win. I feel like Dallas' cards were a little exposed last week. A team that a lot of people expected to go into the Saints, the Superdome, and take care of business. And to me, they didn't look good at all. And I expect Green Bay to have a bounce back win. Again, they lost at home to Philadelphia, but Philadelphia is a team that you don't know whether it's going to show up or not. When they show up, they play really good.
They just need to be healthy. Their team is so injured, but they're a good team. They're just so injured.
Yeah, but I do like Green Bay to win that game.
And I also have Green Bay, as I said earlier. I gave my reasons earlier. So, Dre, what's your game that you can't wait to see today?
I'm being super biased, but I'm looking at some.
You better not say the fucking thing.
Personally, me, I'm going with some AFC North matchups.
Okay.
Look, we have Baltimore. We have Baltimore Ravens 2-2 going up against a Pittsburgh Steelers that's 1-3. And again, I am being biased, but every time you get these two teams playing together,
I just say AFC North with the Bengals or something.
Oh hell no! No, because look, it's a very weird situation right now. Because if you have, it's a really good rivalry, always a good game despite the records. Yeah. And now Pittsburgh's in a situation that if they do win today, they could go 2-3. Baltimore goes 2-3, and if Browns for some reason happen to lose on Monday, now it's a 3-way tie for the first place in the AFC North Division.
That's what's got to happen. Chaos.
It's chaos, and I love it, and I'm here for it.
Chaos. Dave, what's your game of the week?
Listen,
you're more interested in seeing.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to be biased also. So.
Oh my God! What the hell?
I'm really interested in seeing the Giants today. Listen,
oh my God.
There's been a lot of talk, obviously, about Daniel Jones, this team being a different team.
And now he's going up against a real defense.
The impact, right? Listen, the reason why is because obviously people are saying, oh yeah, they only played, the Buccaneers, and they only
which
played.
Bucs lost that game. Yeah. By the way,
exactly. Yeah. So.
But a win's a win.
They're saying that he hasn't had a real challenge.
Nope.
Obviously, because last week he faced Washington, which is doing horrible. But so this is a real test for him. Against a defense that's top 5, right?
Right.
So top 5 defense. Now you're going to see, if this team is for real, if this defense has improved, if Daniel Jones is the future for the Giants. So again, bias, yes, but I'm really excited to watching this game.
Listen, my game that I'm most interested to see is not even going to be today. It's going to be the game tomorrow night, Cleveland Browns and 49ers. Like I said, Cleveland Browns have been really helter-skelter. They have the 2 wins on the road. They got the 2 losses at home. They play much better on the road. And then you got the 49ers who are undefeated. And we're like, listen, are the 49ers for real? And now we get to see if they're for real or not. They're at home, a big game on Monday night. So we get to see if Jimmy G is actually for real or not. Listen, he fit the lot. Before he got hurt, he ran off 5 straight wins against good teams.
Playoff teams.
And now he's doing it again to start the year. So after a while, you're just going to say, you know what? He is legit. He's for real.
We didn't really play.
So back then, there's actually some playoff teams. Teams like Seattle.
No, he's talking about now. He's talking about now.
This year, they hasn't yet, but now he has to do it.
Fucking
Yeah,
try.
but who did the Browns play? Who did the Browns play to say that they're even like good? In my opinion, I mean,
They beat up on Baltimore.
yeah, but is Baltimore really good?
Yes.
You picked them to win the division, didn't you?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
no, I did though, but that was back in March. So I'm just saying
He's
that.
changing. He's changing
No,
his
I'm
pick.
just saying that. No, I'm not changing my
So real
pick.
quick,
But
who's
you
going to win the
can't.
division now?
I don't know. I can't. I don't
That's what
know.
we get paid to see. We got to say it.
Like if I had to pick 2, I'm gonna go with either because right now
There's
it's up
only
in the
14 in
air.
the division. You can't pick
As
two.
of right now, I'm
You can
still
only pick one.
As of right now, I'm still looking at Baltimore. As
All
of
right.
right now, but it doesn't mean that like
So you think they're still good?
they're playing bad teams and looking good, and when they're playing okay teams, they're not looking good. Again, I can't gauge the Browns off of being going into Baltimore when you got Baltimore giving up 73 points in 2 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, listen.
But listen. I'm sorry to cut you guys off,
Yeah.
but this season for me, I think it's been very unpredictable though.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
It's been a tough season. So I mean, listen, you almost had New England lose last week. You almost had KC
They should've
lose last
lost.
week. So actually, if anything, both of those teams should have lost last week. So I think it's been unpredictable. Some teams that you thought were going
I agree
to
with
be
that.
good this year are not doing that great, and then these injuries. So I think a lot has happened where there's a lot of unpredictability this
Well,
year.
this is the thing. I think after you hit this week, which is the 5th week of the season, I think you start deciding
That's when you know.
they're legit or they're not legit. So that's why I think that's such an interesting game with the Cleveland Browns and 49ers.
Yeah, and for the
because
49ers, I
I think
agree.
that the winner of that game is going to be looked at.
Takes
all
a
right,
huge step, I think.
Now Cleveland's back. They won 3 out of the last 4, or 49ers are for real. So I think you're going to get somebody that's left that game. But with that, that's it for 2 Dudes in the Mexican and Pete's Corner mashup. Listen, always hit the subscribe button. It's probably
it.
around this.
Subscribe. Come on, peeps.
Watch
Tell your
the
mom,
show, and
your
we-
dad,
everybody, your
Everybody.
cousins, everybody. People
Share.
your grandma, everybody.
tell everybody about it. So we will be back on Wednesday from Bogies in Clifton. Peace.
Enjoy the games, people.
Peace,
Later.
my people.
Wow, no, mi gente.